Hello everyone, welcome to the stream. Another stream. Who would have imagined that we're going live today? Steven, welcome back to the channel. Good to have you. So I hope you can hear me. So let me check if we're live. If you can hear me, let me know, either from YouTube or from Twitch, where we're coming from. I think no one's yet on Twitch. Just want to remind you that going forward, we'll use Twitch as the main platform for interaction and engagement. So we're still using the YouTube chat. I've also added the combined chat this time, so we can see both the YouTube and Twitch chat here in the stream, always on the left hand side. However, only on Twitch you can earn nozzles. Nozzles are kind of a virtual reward. The longer you're watching my live stream live, the more nozzles you earn, and you can always check how many nozzles you have and what your score is on a leaderboard by entering nozzles, !nozzles, but that only works in Twitch stream, and we're gonna use the nozzles in giveaways. So you basically can spend your nozzles anytime when we do a giveaway. You can decide like whether, okay, this is something that I want to take part in, and you say I'm interested in this giveaway, and then you can use your nozzles to buy tickets into the giveaway, and then the more nozzles you have, spend, and you can basically like either spend everything or just a part of your nozzles, and then you say, okay, this is my chances to get into the giveaway. And that's why and this is only working on Twitch. But yeah, anyways, going forward, I will probably mention this every single time we start a new stream until people are getting known to this, and we'll also have maybe a kind of a bot reminding people of the fact in a certain time interval. What are we doing? What have we done last time on stream? We have been building the tool head for the V100 3D printer, and in the meanwhile I have been disassembling the whole thing and reassembling it, and because it was had some issues, especially with the linear bearings, so the dry lens gave me some trouble. So I decided that I'm gonna completely disassemble the whole thing, and I did this in the meanwhile, and I replaced, basically I did two major changes to this part. First of all, I've swapped out this element here, the rod cradle. I've swapped it out with a new version that is adjustable, so the tension of the part against the linear bearings is adjustable, which wasn't adjustable in the original one. This was the original part, and there you have to push in the dry lens or the linear bearings with quite some force into these holes, and then two things happen. First of all, for the dry lens, the pressure increases. That means it was super hard to move the rods, and the only way to reduce the friction was basically to enlarge in this hole, or basically to sand it down a bit so it has less pressure, but still it wasn't adjustable, so you couldn't really like take this part and adjust the pressure. And then I tried something else, because I was like in the Discord channel of the V100 community. Basically everyone is now switching to linear bearings, metal linear bearings instead of dry lens. So if I had known that earlier, probably wouldn't have bought the dry lens in the first place. So I also decided to switch to the linear bearings. But I still tried to insert one linear bearing into this part, and then I had to basically use a soldering iron to cut it open here because I couldn't get it anymore out, so it was super difficult. So I decided we'll replace this part with a new one that has adjustable pressure, so you can also replace the linear bearings anytime in the future if it is needed. Super easy to do, because then you can just like disassemble this or like loosen up these two screws here, and then you can take the linear bearings out with no effort. And so these are two LM8UU linear bearings. They should work pretty well. I mean, there is definitely, even if there is pressure on these, still runs totally smoothly, right? So the rods are running nicely, can be inserted easily. So that's what I was actually hoping for with the dry lens, but that never worked out. And after some chats in the community, in the Discord server of the V100, basically people pointed me to going for the metal bearings, even though they are a little heavier. But yeah, this is the compromise. There's also a complete kit available now on AliExpress that Mats, the printing nerd, basically put together with Fushi bearings. So they partnered up and created a whole set of metal bearings and rods that are kind of paired and tested in each kit. But it's quite expensive. I think 68 euros for the whole kit with the rods for the printer. Yeah, I've basically had already ordered the cheap linear bearings, and they seem to work fine. I think for my first iteration of this printer build, this is going to be fine. The downside now is that I didn't order enough of those linear bearings, so I have to wait like for the rest to arrive to finish the complete build. Anyways, we can I've inserted two here into the tool head now, and this should be fine. I think I did no other changes to this whole assembly except like these two things, but this is going to be so much better now. And today the plan is that we are continuing with the build and doing the top frame, and the top frame consists of basically 4 huge parts, right? These 4 printed parts here that we are going to assemble. We have to basically just figure out which one is what is the alignment. Yeah, but this is one side of the frame here, for example, and then yeah, we're going to use some connection pieces to connect everything together. I started already doing the thread inserts here. Not done yet because my soldering iron had to cool down a bit. My assembly tool here is a little bit sensitive to overheating because the holding piece is just printed with PETG, so probably replace that in the future. But anyways, plan today is first of all finishing all of the threaded inserts while we're discussing a little bit about the build. We have 2 hours today to do this. Let's see how far we can come, and I would say just with that, let's kick it off. Chat is on. You can basically post any questions anytime. Hey, Banshee Boys 70A, welcome to the stream. Want to welcome everyone who is currently watching, all the people lurking in the background. You're all welcome, and you can also use chat to ask questions. I'm going to look on the chat from time to time, basically focusing now on the thread inserts, and I think my soldering iron has cooled down a bit, and we can continue doing the thread inserts. So let's see if we can bring this on screen. Yeah, so this is probably gonna remove a few things that I don't want to see now. Okay, so I've started already inserted these here. I think we're missing this side. There's a bunch of holes left, which we have to do now. And I'm gonna heat up my soldering iron and we're gonna start. This is taking a few minutes, 1-2 minutes to heat up. So, how are you doing? I'm gonna probably turn off the music or turn down the music even more. Let me see. Bill. So, how much of the music can you still hear? Probably not that much. Like, I tuned it down, turned it down quite a bit now. So you can probably still hear it, but it's still not that loud anymore, hopefully. Good. We still have 1 week till the end of the year. A little bit more. So what's your plans for for Christmas and New Year? Anything particular going on your end? Steven, Banshee, you're the two guys who chatted and said hello. What's going on with you? What's your plans for Christmas? Are you doing anything? Some family time probably. For me, it's definitely all 3 days of family time. Then between the years, as we say, probably doing some builds here and maybe another stream between the holidays and New Year. I'm not sure yet, but I have the plan to do it next week. Then do some streaming and continuing with the build. And then New Year, definitely going to continue with the build. On the other hand, I also got in contact with Matt, the printing nerd, and he is currently designing version 2 of this printer, and it's going to be completely different. So it's like everything is changing, and I was like, okay, I'm building the V.1.1 of this printer, and as soon as 2.0 comes out, I have to disassemble everything and then build it from scratch. Not much just family time for Banshee. Working on getting me another 3D printer. Hey, what 3D printer are you getting? I think the soldering iron is already hot. So we should probably go and do the first few threaded inserts. Well, this side is a little tricky because the holes are smaller. I think it's going to work out. Hopefully, no issues pushing this in. So essentially what I have here is a little tool that helps me pushing in those heat press inserts, right? You can't see it at the moment. Maybe I'm gonna adjust the camera a little bit so you can see what is going on here. So this is my little construction here, and basically this is a Dremel 220. You can just pull the lever and push the soldering iron down, and it's going completely vertical, so there's like no tilt and you can't really insert it in the wrong position or in a wrong angle. So that is super helpful to do these the heat press inserts. Let's do the next one. The only problem is if they don't really fit in the hole perfectly, you have to start, then push it in and then line it, but that's also easy. And then finally, once it's in, this might be a little bit of a kind of a bit protruding plastic, but we can fix that. Just push this back in with something flat, Just choosing a file in this case, just to make it flat. Good. The next two ones. The Bamboo P1S. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, that sounds like a nice printer for Christmas. Probably you got it on Black Friday, or there was a huge discount for all of the Bamboo's printers on Black Friday week. At least, I guess, I've seen all of the printers have been probably 100 euros cheaper or something. That was, yeah, I was tempted to get me a P1S combo, but then I decided that I have a P1P, and what I actually want to do is to upgrade it to the P1S. And if you didn't know, if you got a P1P in the past, there is an upgrade kit available from Bamboo Lab to upgrade this printer to a P1S setup. So there's all the body parts, the panels, the glass, the doors, everything is coming in this kit. The kit is not like, it's not cheaper to get the P1P and the kit. It's actually more expensive in the end, but still there is an upgrade path, which is totally appreciated. And yeah, Bamboo Lab did the right thing there, I would say, to offer an upgrade kit. However, I have no idea how long this is going to take me. Probably a couple of hours to finish this upgrade. So this is something for a future stream, probably. I'm looking forward to do that here on the channel, but we're gonna do this build here first. So, just want to make sure I'm not running into any copyright issues with my music, which from time to time checking the music if it's still the one that I wanted. Good. So let's continue here, finish this part here. And to the threads. Good. Next one is done. Here we go. You see, 6 have been inserted now. Still have to do these other sticks here. Then I think I'm missing 2 more. Yeah, here is 2 that there's a little cavity here. But this is the rod holder piece. There's also another 2 which we have to do. So let's continue on the top. Only downside is that the holes are slightly too small, so it's difficult to align. Probably pushing them in first. It's actually the better strategy. To push them in and then use the soldering iron. Good. So, so you wish that you did. Yeah. Yeah, the right choice. Family first. Understand it. But yeah, I was also thinking that anything that you get cheaper on Black Friday, the money that you're saving there, you can use for your family as well. So that was my thoughts. And so I was like shopping quite a bit on Black Friday and actually didn't shop afterwards, anything afterwards for Christmas. Everything has been, basically everything is here already for Christmas. My biggest shopping spree on Black Friday was actually for the V100 printer, and luckily most of the stuff is already here. But then I also realized I forgot a few parts. I think I don't know why, I forgot to order the second lead screw for the Z-axis. For whatever reason, I only ordered one. So this is happening hopefully next week or the week after. But I think we're not going to finish that soon anyways. So my expectation for this build is that this is going to take a few more weeks, because I only have so much time every single week. I only have maybe 2 to 3 hours to invest into this build. So it's going to be slow, but steadily going forward towards the goal of having this printer up and running, and then probably printing the first time somewhere end of January or something. That's my goal, but yeah, let's see how far we can come. Next time, I promise I will do more of the thread inserts before we actually do the stream. But honestly, I didn't find any minute this week to do this. So we have to do it now or never. And it's a little tedious, but I mean, it's just time that you're spending doing the same thing all over again. But we have to do it. So this part is almost done. Only these, I think we're missing. No, we're actually not missing. We're not missing. These are actually using hex nuts, so we don't have to do thread inserts here. So the first part is actually done. Let's get this next one and just continue from here. I think we just go and move on, and at some point I have to let the soldering iron cool down for a few minutes so we can do some more chatting. And so let's go. And always trying to press down the protruding plastic as fast as possible, so we don't have to heat it up again. Hey, so let me know, everyone who is lurking in the background, where are you guys coming from? Let me know in the chat. Again, want to remind you that if you're coming to the chat from YouTube, you can only see what's going on Twitch here here on the side. So all of the chat messages from Twitch and YouTube are going to be shown here combined. Want to encourage you to really hop over on Twitch and watch from Twitch, because I've basically introduced a community feature that as long as you watch on Twitch, you're earning nozzles, and I think every 5 minutes or something you get new nozzles. And so if you watch the stream, even if you're not really watching it, just letting it running in the background, if maybe some people do that, you still get the nozzles, and you can spend nozzles for giveaways. As soon as I have the next, I think in January, we're gonna do the first giveaway. Of course, then you can spend as many of the nozzles as you want. Hey, William from Denmark, how are you doing? I hope you're enjoying yourself at the moment, preparing for Christmas. And I'm doing a build here. I think we're gonna finish this part here first. Doing a few more thread inserts. Oh, this one is a little tricky. The hole is quite tight here, but yeah, it's probably gonna work still. Good. So, William is from Denmark. All the others, if you want, let us know where you're coming from. I'm always interested to hear what time zones people are in and what the cities people are coming from. It's always good to hear and good to know So interesting because there's people are coming from all kinds of countries to watch the videos. It's always quite astonishing. So we have to lower this a little bit. Okay, even more. Okay. Good. Here this job is a little bit easier. The only problem here is we can't see it on camera. We can also move it a bit. So this is how it works. Gently pushing down the lever and done. Super easy. Next one. Not pushing too much, so it can really sink in. And that's it. Here the holes are a little bit larger, so it's actually easier to just push the threaded insert in the lower end and then just continue with the soldering iron. And there is really countless thread inserts that we have to do. That's the only downside of this printer now, that we have so many thread inserts to do. And I didn't have any time before the stream to do this, so we have to do it now. But it's going quite well, I would say. That we're progressing. And the plastic is smoking. It's smoking. Good. Next one. Maybe push it in a bit. So if plastic is protruding, want to push it back. So in the end, all of the parts are coming together nice and flush. So let's align it, and we're going to push. Since this is ABS plastic, it's also smelling a little bit, but nothing too bad. Nothing really bad, but hopefully going to finish this part in any minute. And then we let the soldering iron cool down again because it's getting quite warm now. The problem is if it gets too warm, this whole mount here is going to, so now I think we have to take a little break here. And it's getting very warm, but the good thing is we have a second one with the same diameter. Just let this cool down and then use the second one. That's the advantage if you have two stations. You can always switch between those. Actually, I had two stations because I wanted to use different diameters of thread inserts for another project, so that was quite useful to have two different sizes. But now we have the same size on both soldering irons, and can have the first one cool down a little bit, so we can just use the second one now. Good. Hey, Asker is coming from Denmark. Hey guys, welcome. Welcome. And Pierre is also from Denmark. Welcome to the stream. Good evening. William is quietly, there are storms here, so bridges and other things are closed. Yeah, from Denmark. Here in Germany we also have quite a storm going on. I hope that nothing bad happens and we're not losing the connection. But we didn't drop any frames yet, so it's like looking good. Steven is coming from United States. Jay from the UK. Welcome. Good to have you here. So let me do the next threads here. Oh, just probably have to adjust the temperature for this one here. Yeah, maximum is 260. I don't need it that hot actually. 240 should be fine. Good. This one is pretty hot. I have to reprint this holder piece in ABS probably because it's getting too warm too fast. Anyways, I think it's great to have two stations today because so we can always swap. Let's just continue with this one, not waiting too long. Is it flush? Yeah, looks good. So then we have multiple. So this side is done basically. Now we have multiple thread inserts to do on this side. I'm gonna lower this whole thing quite a bit. Okay, coming down. And this is quite easy now. So, yeah, want to remind you that we have, I'm also writing a little documentation about what we're doing here with the V100 build. Essentially, the page is public since today. I've also sent out a little, again, it was a community message to all of the YouTube viewers. So let me push that here into the chat. So this is my guide that I'm currently writing. I finished part one, if you will. The part one was for the tool head. I still missed to add a few more pictures, but essentially the first section describing, I mean, there's an introduction part, which is also missing some images, and we're probably gonna have a few more images once the printer is finished, especially for the introduction. But yeah, section one is essentially the one describing the tool head build. That is done, I would say, by 99 or 95%. Some images missing. Maybe I need to change a few little details. But yeah, the next part will be describing the whole top frame build and all of the findings that I had, all the little quirks and tips that I can give people who want to build it. There is, I think now, also another guide. Someone mentioned it in the last stream, I forgot. I think there is a new guide available. It's also pretty good. Also freely available. I still decided, even though there is now Matt's guide on Patreon and then another free guide, I still will continue finishing, or I will finish this guide just for documenting for myself and also to have it on my website. Still want to do it, and yeah, going forward, once this is all done, I think we're going to have a pretty comprehensive explanation of all of the things that I found to be interesting. And that's the good part. I mean, it's going to be available for everyone on my website, and now you can basically follow along just by reading it and continuing to read it once I add new parts to this document as we go forward with this build. So A little more plastic protruding here. And this is the, I think this is the final two. Double checking now once we have done these two if nothing is missing. Good. And the last one, hopefully. This part. Plastic looks good. So I think we didn't miss any of the holes. So part number 2 is done. So we can continue right away with the next one. Hello from Switzerland. Hey, le xylocope. Le xylocope. If I'm not wrong, is this French? Welcome to the stream. What are you doing? Are you just enjoying the stream, watching me build the stuff here? Are you planning? And by the way, I mean, is anyone planning to build this printer themselves? Are you just interested how it goes for me, or are you really, really interested in building your own V100? I'm curious. I'm curious. Let me know. So next thread insert, pushing it in. Sometimes the plastic is protruding out for whatever reason. Sometimes it is just perfect. Okay. So far, we're doing good. How many thread inserts are in this package? 100 pieces, and we already have, I think, almost one package is empty. 100 inserts. Yeah, I've already wasted a few on the iterations for the tool head, but probably not more than 10. So, and we're already reaching the end of the first package. So yeah, probably around about 90 thread inserts are really in all of the parts, which is quite a lot. And if you imagine like inserting 90 thread inserts manually using a soldering iron without any of anything like this, this Dremel station is super tedious and probably even takes you longer, a lot longer probably, because it's not easy to get it aligned. I have to probably do a lot of adjustment and practice, and this one is so easy and fast. And I have been using this for the computer case project, and in that project I probably have inserted a few thousand, I don't know, probably 2,000 inserts overall. So quite a bit. So this doesn't require inserts. Just check. Yeah, this other side is missing. Yeah, we have to raise it. Let's see. Is this enough? Yeah. Looking good. What about channel music? Still a little bit playing in the background. Yeah. How about the music? Just want to know, let me know how loud it is for you, because for me I can't really tell how much of the music you can actually hear. I've turned it down quite a bit, so it shouldn't be that loud. probably just barely in the background, hopefully. Just let me know. So I can remember next time what we have in terms of the loudness settings that works for you. Push, push, push. Now we should probably let this one cool down as well soon. Once we've done this part, we're probably switching back to the first one. Or we take a little break and let everything cool down for a few minutes. I mean, I have to replace the holding pieces with ABS very soon. It's a little annoying. Sound is fine. Music isn't annoying, hopefully. Okay, so we're reaching the end of this part. And then we let this soldering iron cool down. Just a few more. So, what are we missing? On this side we have still 4 to go. Yeah, we have to raise it up a little bit and then we can finish this. Okay, number 4. Okay, good to go. One. 2. 3. And 4. Done. Let's switch this off. Okay. So another one done. Now we have officially reached the end of this first bag. 100 pieces are gone. That inserts, that's quite a lot. This is the last part where we have to do, how many actually? 1, 2, 6, 12, 16, yeah, 16. Not too bad. Still gonna let this cool down for a minute, and this other one is also still quite warm, so let's take a quick 5-minute break here and let's have a chat. Yeah, the heat setup for this, I'm setting, I think depends on the material that you're using. In my case, all of the parts are printed with ABS. I think the print temperature was 260 degrees. So you could theoretically just set the soldering iron to the same temperature. But since I have a little bit of an overheating problem here with this setup, so this part being PETG, I decided to set my soldering iron to 240, but you can probably also go to 260. Basically the same temperature you would melt this plastic. If you go for PLA, I've been doing 230 degrees for PLA parts with soldering iron. So the problem now, I mean, you need a soldering iron that has a temperature or where you can adjust the temperatures. I also have older soldering irons where there's just like 60 watt on it, and then you cannot regulate the temperature, and have no idea how hot they get. But I would say going with the melting temperature and a little bit above is good. So the compromise is if you go with a lower temperature, it's taking more time, and it's probably not melting that perfectly into the grubs of the thread inserts. But I would say go as high as you can with the soldering iron. If you use this kind of setup, this is a Dremel 220 workstation. This part here is available on printables. So if you go for my profile, I have modified this part slightly. I've linked it in also my printables profile. But basically, if you search for Dremel 220 and soldering iron, you will find this part. And yeah, my mistake, I didn't print it in some high temperature print material. Also PETG has the tendency to start warping at some point, so you have to let this cool down. Maybe also the soldering iron is a little bit of a cheap one. It gets not only warm here, like not only the tip is getting warm, but if you use this for a longer period, this upper end, basically where we have this plastic hand protector, is also getting quite warm at some point. Probably also because the heat is always like going up in the part. So maybe it's also the soldering iron that's causing the issue, and if you have probably a little bit more expensive version or a little higher quality, maybe that will not heat up that much, not get that warm. But anyways, that's my setup here. Pretty simple. I did have these two stations for my other project. I had two different heat press insert tips, M4, M3, and so I could always switch back and forth and finish the parts faster. And then also the overheating problem wasn't that much of a big deal. But yeah, that's how it works. I think this one has cooled down quite a bit now, so we can switch back and remove this one from the plug. Let's turn it away and come back to this one here. Good. Still 16 thread inserts to do, and then we can start assembling a few parts. Yeah, any more questions? Ask them anytime in the chat. If you want to know something, I'm here to answer your questions, of course. Still trying to push faster to finish this build, of course. Last time we spent quite some time figuring out the right tri-lens. That took quite long, with the result of me completely abandoning the idea of using dry lens for this whole thing. So yeah, well done. Probably could have fixed that or figured that out earlier, but yeah, that's how it went for me. But the good thing is that you don't have to figure it out yourself. So if you're anyway tempted to use dry lens because they seem to be lightweight, I cannot really recommend it. It is very tedious to find a good pair of dry lens for any of the axes, and if you start pressing them into the holder piece, they increase the pressure on the rod so much that I can hardly imagine this would ever work. And really, especially the starting force on the axis motor is pretty high. So once the part is moving, it's actually working quite well. But as the beginning, so really kicking the part in any direction, that requires some initial force that is quite high. And you could see this in the printed parts. I have done this on another printer actually, and I probably would have known that, should have known that. Remembering that, I was reminded why the problem that I had on another printer where I was swapping out the linear metal bearings with drylins, and it was a huge mistake. Thinking back, I should have remembered that, because it was creating binding, and that means the axis motor couldn't push the part. The initial push, the initial force has to be quite high, and then I saw some artifacts in the print. I couldn't figure out why the print had so many artifacts, and now I know why, because it's the drylins. And then I swapped back to linear bearings, and everything was fine. So don't try to build this printer with drylins. Matt himself, he switched to metal linear bearings, even though it's quite a big part in his videos, still explaining all the drylin, finding the right pairs and stuff. But anyways, it's not a thing anymore. That's also the problem with making YouTube videos about these kind of things, is that once you've done the videos and you have figured that something is wrong, you probably have to do the whole thing all over again. And you cannot really edit. Once it's done, it's published, right? So that's why I'm also writing the blog post about this, or basically building this document, explaining everything in detail. Because if I figure something like this, I had a pretty long section in the document explaining the drylins and how to find the best ones and what my experiences have been, and then making the 180-degree turn towards using metal linear bearings. I've just removed everything. Basically, now it says in the beginning, don't use the drylins. It's a waste of time, and yeah, so much better to have something in a digital form as a blog post, where you can just update it, and then it's always up to date, always the right version. Still, we're doing this live stream, and you can watch it later, and then maybe in a year you will figure everything has changed. There's version 2 out of this printer, and then we have to start all over again, which is partially exciting, I would say. Partially because, of course, I have put in a lot of time into building this printer, and then I'm figuring I have to change everything. But anyways, that's how it goes. So, how does this look? Yeah, pretty good. The last few things to insert here. And then we can assemble the thing. Hopefully. And have the frame done. So, let's go. Yeah, the only part here is really having this, holding it, so it's steady and vertical, so we're not moving in any direction. Hey Austin, how are you doing? You've just joined us. So I'm just finishing the last few threaded inserts, or heat press inserts. Actually, what's confusing about these, there is so many different terms for this. Thread inserts, heat press inserts, heat inserts. I mean, 4 means the same thing. Oh, let's do this. One more. Here we go. And last 4. These are the last 4. So these holes seem to be a little smaller. You have to push them in. I mean, you can probably also do this without pressing them a little bit, but if you hit it with the soldering iron and it starts tilting and it's already starting to get hot, that's difficult because you don't want to misalign this. So I'd rather push them a little bit. If the hole is slightly too small, just push the smaller end in, so now they are perfectly aligned here with the hole, and then we can just push the rest. That's it. What's the temperature here? Yeah, 240. So 240 works pretty good. I think this is definitely hot enough. And this is ABS, so anyways has a higher melting temperature. You wouldn't need to go with 240 with a PLA. I would assume 230 in my experience is enough. So the last 2 are done. Let's have the parts cooling down a bit. In the meanwhile, I'm gonna organize the parts that we need. We need to figure first which parts are coming together in which order, which direction. We have 2 elements here that are where there's a motor, the motor mounts. So these are the top, right? And then we have the end result is going to be like, let's figure this out. Tetris. This is probably going here, is it? No, this one, this direction. How is this going to align? Yeah, this must be it. No, that's not correct. What's going on? Not stupid, hopefully. I had this figured out already. Now I forgot how to do it. There's 2 pieces connecting. I guess we have to swap it. It's just the other way around. This should be working. Yeah, this should be the right orientation. So using the connection pieces, kind of this way. Now, anyways, we'll start with the first part. So we need the connector pieces now. Quite a few connectors here. So we're gonna sort the parts so we know which one we have to do. So this is for the rods. This is the belt tensioner. It's also a rod holder, another rod holder. So the bigger plates are, this is not the one. I think we need 4 identical pieces, or at least 2 that match this one. Here we go. The first one, second one. Oh, yeah, we can start with this, just starting on one end. Doesn't really matter which one we start with, but this is probably the first one. Then we find the right screw length. Probably... Yeah, let's see if we have another. Let me figure out if I got some nice... No. Yeah. I think exactly happened what I didn't want to happen is that my player just continued with a completely different album. I'm probably causing some copyright issues, but anyways, never mind. Let's go and continue. Hey, name a link to your printables account. The printables account should be... I can post the link. Let me do this quickly for you. Here we go. And paste. This is my collections. So you can find all my collections that I created, my public collections, for all kind of different things that I've built or wanted to build. As always, the collections are bigger than ever, and probably can never get to print all of the stuff that I want, but there you find everything that I have collected so far. How long are these screws supposed to be? My guess is somewhat around 16 to 20 millimeters. Let's see. 16 looks pretty nice. Yeah, so actually a bit long. Maybe we can get away with the 12 millimeters. So let's see, but that looks quite good. I would say 12 millimeters looks good. So where's my screwdrivers? Here we go. 2.5 millimeter hex driver. Using these ones because these are so much easier to use. Because first of all, they have a ball head, and you can have, and the back side is turning, so you can basically just turn a screwdriver while pushing with your hand or holding it here. So much easier. Can highly recommend using professional tools versus using these hex drivers that probably everyone knows from printers that come with printers. These are so tedious to use. So this is a lot easier. So total of 8 screws are connecting these two. Quite a lot of thread inserts, quite a lot of screws for this part. William, you found my profile, that's good. Hope you like what you find. Seriously, this is so much easier and faster. So I will tighten all of the screws in a moment, but not too much because, I mean, these are printed parts. and these are not completely with 100% infill. They are more like 25% infill, and so you don't want to crank the screws so much. Just hand tighten it and then it's good. Now let's do the first two on the other side. Great. And the 3NG, yeah. Oh my goodness. You know what? Outside there is a thunderstorm going on. I just heard it. And it's pretty loud. I hope that we don't have a power issue in a second. Okay, my wife is calling. She's probably a little bit concerned. Hey. So the thunderstorm is pretty hefty, and I'm assuming that we will have some. We could lose power anytime. My experiences from this little village that we live in is that anytime we have a thunderstorm going on, that's a little, just a little extraordinary or a little stronger. The power is. You can almost bet that the power is going away for, even if it's just for a few minutes. So, yeah, if you see this happening, if I suddenly disappear, you know why. Because our power lines aren't that reliable. That's the only downside here. To live in the countryside is really, we still have power lines overground, so to say, like just not underground, and like in cities. And usually when I talk to other people and I tell them we had a power outage yesterday, all of them live in cities, and then tell me, oh, that was nothing. There are no issues. But here it's a little different. And we have no emergency power system yet. So yeah, let's hope for the best. But I wouldn't be surprised if we lose power at some time. So next part here. Next part here is figuring out which one is going on here. So let me see. So we have these two that are connected. Can also do this first. This is a little different. So there's two panels here, and that's a little different than the other one. This is not using thread inserts, it's using M3 nuts and longer bolts, because I think this is like where you can also swap this out and attach some of the parts or some upgrades to the side of this printer. That's why it is a little different. So what we want to do is insert a few hex nuts here and then figure out which length, or maybe start with one and then figure out what kind of screw length we need. We can just also use one side first. Yeah, maybe pushing in the hex nuts is another one. It's not the easiest. Probably not so easy. Needs to be aligned flat. Yeah. We have a screwdriver for this. Here we go. Good. I guess pressing this in first, aligning them is the best option. Those parts look great. What did you print them with? This is ABS-X from Nobufil. Probably a company that you didn't know yet. Nobufil is a new brand. It's coming from Austria, so it's probably not. I don't know. They ship. I think they ship worldwide. The thing is, this company, what makes this filament different or special, is it is a little less likely to warp. So it's a mixture of ABS and some composite. That's the first thing. So they claim that you can print it without an enclosure. I tried it, and yes, that's true, until you get to print something really big. So these kind of parts here, which are really large, I wouldn't print them without an enclosure, even though this material is less likely to warp. What's really true is that the advantage of having this material being less warpy is that the layer adhesion is better, so you won't likely have cracks in your parts while the parts are cooling down. So that's definitely something that's better with this type of material. And the other factor that is I really like about this material, that this is made from industry plastic, and they recycle. Basically, they buy plastic waste, industry plastic waste from industry production, and then they recycle it into filament. So it is, yeah, in a way it's more sustainable. And they don't offer anything else, so they basically have only the recycled materials that they offer. And now they are offering also different types of materials. So they have started with ABS, and now they have also some, I think, PETG and other types. I didn't try the other materials yet, mostly industry plastic, more professional, higher temperatures, and that's probably something for, anyways, for builds that require some stiffness and stability. This is, yeah, I think this looks good. We can probably now figure out the length of our screws. Question is, in which direction are we going? It probably doesn't really matter which one we use on which side. Anyways, this is 25mm screws. Is this already enough, or do we need the 30mm? Let's figure out. I think this could be already enough. If we hit Oh, it's barely, just a little bit too short. I think 2 millimeter. Yeah, it's tiny bit too short. So 25 is not enough. Let's go with what we have here. 30. Yeah, I guess 30 millimeter M5. No, it's 30 millimeter M3. Probably that's a little bit longer. Maybe this is already too much, but we don't have any other options, honestly. In the bill of material, yeah, this is a tiny bit longer than actually required. So we have some protruding screw here, if I'm not wrong. The question is, can we push the hex nuts a little further in? Maybe you can just get away with the 25s. I have my doubts. I mean, 30 millimeter is definitely a little bit too much. Unless you don't care. But it's like 3 millimeter too much. Yeah, let's try one more time the 25s. I think I don't like the screws to protrude. The printer which I was using, Nick, by the way, I think Nick, you were chatting for the first time. Thanks for joining. The printer was the Bambolab X1 Carbon. So I'm not sure if this is going to work, honestly. This is. When we were touching, hope you can. I don't know if you can see this. The screw is probably going in half in the hex nut, not completely. I'm not so happy. I mean, if we use the 30 millimeter ones, we would be protruding out a few millimeters. You know, I mean, I will check in the original guide what the Matt's suggestion was. I think he wouldn't recommend using these. I mean, he had a pretty extensive bill of material with all kinds of screw lengths, and then there was these kind of intermediate length also available, so why not going with something in between? But maybe it's just fine because we have 8 mounting points, right? So if we connect all of them, then there wouldn't be any stability problem. Let's see how this goes. 25 it will be. So that's I'm still have my doubts about this. So, but I saw that probably some of you have gone for some Black Friday deals for Bambolab printers. In the meanwhile, there is a new Bambolab printer coming out, the A1. Okay, this is definitely not long enough. So let's say 25 millimeter is really very much borderline too short. Or maybe I'm just going to get some screws that are a little bit longer, replace them at some later time. For now, this is probably going to work. Yeah, in the meanwhile, Bambolab releasing their A1 bed slinger, and I was really like thinking, why? I mean, I understand that they want to reach another market or a bigger market share with that. I think something's wrong. I'm not sure. Probably we did I mean, this looks good, but on the other hand, this looks wrong. Maybe I put it, I mean, length is fine, and it should be working in this way, but this part is pretty much, I think I get it. I think I see my mistake here. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we have assembled it in the wrong direction, obviously. Oh my goodness. Benji boys, what printer did you use? Yeah, as I said, the Bamboo Lab X1 Carbon. That's the printer. Let me figure out if I have the wrong assumption here. This is, let me think. This is where the rods, the front rods are going. These are actually going in the right direction. So from that perspective, this looks fine. What's probably wrong is, I mean, I think no, let me disassemble the other part. I think I now realized my mistake. I realized what I did wrong. This is actually good. This is correct because there's no other way to assemble these two pieces. But I think we have them in the wrong direction. That's why having a guide is good, or would have been better. Hello, Hybrid Robotics. Welcome. You have an Ender 3 V3KE. So that's the is that the AI powered version? I will very soon get that kind of printer, so the Ender 3 V3KE, for a review. I'm personally very curious to learn about this printer, how it is and how it works. I'm curious, what's your experience so far with this printer? Is it a good printer? Does it really keep all the promises that they make? Easy to use, no huge aligning and bed leveling and all that kind of stuff. Is this really true, or is this just marketing? I mean, I will figure out very soon because I'm going to get the printer in, but let us know. I love my printer. It's an awesome little printer. Great to hear. So oh, my wife is calling me. Probably hope the internet connection is still working, because it could be that we have a second line that's not working. So, family requires my attention in a few minutes. So, I mean, in the meanwhile, I figured out what my mistake was regarding this part. I just put it together in the wrong orientation. Now this looks much better. Makes more sense. So, I think the top frame is coming together in the right orientation. So let's finish this. Unfortunately, I only have a few more minutes today. That's how it goes. Sometimes family first, of course. But anyways, I think next week we're gonna have another chance to finish this. What is missing, and I was realizing this while I was watching Matt's video guide, and I was like basically watching it to figure out the basic idea how this comes together. Honestly, can't also not remember all of the details in every single step, but what I realized is that I still have to print a few parts for the gantry, because this is really just the top frame, and then the gantry for running the y-axis or the x-axis and the y-axis still has to be printed. So I will do that in the next couple of days and post my progress on Instagram. So if you're interested to see, anyways, if you want to follow along all of the little things on the little steps, you can also check out my Instagram and see the pictures that I'm posting there almost every single day. And you will see my changes that I also did, and also the other parts that I created, the new versions of some of the parts that I anticipate I will do a few more things to this original frame, because I want to have a different screen attachment, another main board. That's a different one than the original suggestion, so I'm not using a banana pie. So there's gonna be a few little changes here and there to use different parts. And yeah, if you want, just go there, go and follow me on Instagram, use that to see how it's going for me. So almost there. I think it's coming together. Would even be faster if we used power tools, but yeah, I think this is also good enough and fast enough. So probably going to do the last ones later, just to show you this in a first glance, and see how this is going to look like in the end. Good. Let's do the opposite side, at least 4 more screws. How's everything going? Yeah, hybrid robotics, family first is always, that's always super important. You want to have support from your family for the hobbies that you're doing. Family is really super important, and my first priority. Great. I think at least the basic stability is already there, and there's just a few more screws missing. In the end, I will probably have to disassemble this one more time to make all of the pictures. Last time I tried to make the pictures during the live stream. The strategy didn't really work so well, so I'm going to just disassemble this again, and then we're going to take all of the pictures for all of the steps in my manual. So this is the top frame. That's how it comes together. Here we have the X and Y axis motor slots, and the gantry is going to be running inside. That's what we're going to do in one of the next videos. So sorry guys for interrupting here. I'm gonna take care of the family. See you next time. I'm gonna announce the next live stream next week, probably somewhere between Christmas and the New Year. I hope you had fun watching this, and let's meet again. Don't forget to subscribe. Was a pleasure to have you all here, and I wish you a Merry Christmas.